Alright, fellow Slayers, time to take a look at the final episode of the day, which is Doublemeat Palace. Willow updates Xander and Anya about the trio, explaining that the three seem to have disappeared and moved from their basement lair. Anya chimes in with supportive statements about working hard for money and the importance of working in America just before Buffy appears, wearing a uniform for her new job. Later, Buffy's introduced to the world of fast food with help of a unique and graphic video about her new place of work, the Doublemeat Palace. Her boss, Manny, introduces Buffy to her unenthusiastic coworkers and walks her through the area behind the counter, clearly identifying off-limit locations. Buffy is offered the Doublemeat Medley, a burger consisting of typical ingredients of layers of meat and chicken, and Manny requires that she eat it. Shortly takes a bite, then questions what the secret ingredient in the meat is, but gets no clear answer. Buffy watches his coworker Gary waits on a woman wearing a wig who is a regular at the palace. After his demonstration, Buffy takes the next customer but is lost quickly in the process as the man's order is too difficult for her to follow. During her break, Buffy sneaks around in the back rooms, searching for the truth behind the secret ingredient, but is caught by Manny. At the counter, Buffy finds her friends have come by to visit her, and she treats Xander to a Doublemeat medley. Anya goes on a rant about how behind the wedding plans are, partially blaming Willow for the complications. Later, Buffy receives a surprise visit from Spike at the restaurant. He teases her, suggesting that she took the job to feel normal given that Buffy may possibly be a demon now. Buffy strongly refutes this, despite the fact that Spike's chip now allows him to hurt her. Spike then tries to persuade her to leave the job and be with him, warning her that this job could kill her. He offers everything in his power to take care of her and help her with her money problems. She remains determined and turns away. Gary goes out to the alley behind the restaurant and encounters someone slash something that he recognizes. Then that similar something attacks him. The next day, with Gary not there to work, Buffy's told to work the grill and another coworker, Timothy, demonstrates the process for her. Again, Buffy asks about the secret ingredient, but still can't get an answer from anyone. Manny then assigns Buffy to a double shift because of a reduction of employees. At the apartment, Xander talks to Anya, who's in another room, about Buffy working double shift just before a demon appears, suddenly before Xander, threatening to tear him into pieces. However, Anya enters the room, recognizes the vengeance demon as her old friend Halfric, and the girls greet each other gleefully. Anya clears up the confusion, explaining that she arrived Halfric to the wedding, not to seek vengeance on Xander. Xander leaves to let the girls chat. Back at the Doublemeat Palace, Buffy spots Spike outside through a window and spends her break having sex with him in the alleyway out behind the restaurant, though she looks thoroughly disinterested. Amy pays Willow a visit, wearing her rat cage as a souvenir, and talks with Willow about her progress with avoiding magic. Before she leaves, Amy, wanting to get Willow back onto magic, gives Willow an unmask, gets Willow an us for a gift. Magical boosted power she can't quite control. Buffy watches the grind meat, but discovers a human finger in the processed meat. Appalled at the idea of human meat being a secret ingredient, Buffy confronts Manny about it, but he disagrees with her suspicions. Buffy charges out in the dining area, attempting to stop all the patrons from eating while shouting that the meat is made of humans. The outburst gets her fired. Over drinks, Anya and Halfrey talk about Anya's relationship with Xander, and Anya begins to reevaluate her situation with Xander after Halfrey repeatedly insists on addressing the issues. A meeting is called in the magic box as Buffy presents a severed finger and a Doublemeat medley as evidence for her pupil burger theory. But Xander eats the burger before Buffy explains her theory. Willow arrives late, ready to begin researching. Spike thinks she's under Amy's gift spell and lacks control over her use of magic. Buffy leaves to investigate Doublemeat Palace after hours, but leaves his science to test a leftover piece of meat from the Doublemeat medley. Buffy breaks to the fast food place to find clues. Blood and Manny's severed foot. Willow struggles to avoid using magic while Dawn and Cinder talk about the kind of future life Buffy will have because she's a Slayer. and Anya shows up late after Halfrick's departure, and his argument develops between her and Xander over the attractive appearance of Vengeance Demon. Will's analysis reveals that the basic composition of the meat is cellulose. While continuing to snoop, Buffy encounters a regular customer, the wig lady without her wig. A demonic lamprey-like appendage emerges from the lady's head and sprays a paralyzing liquid at Buffy. The lady advances on Buffy and talks about eating Doublemeat employees as the Slayer struggles to escape. Willow shows up and tries to inform Buffy of the Doublemeat medley, which is not made of humans but processed vegetables. He begins to confess to her about Amy's magical gift. Buffy's unable to respond to the information as she continues to try to get away from the demon, which manages to latch onto her shoulder and starts to feed. Inside, Willow tries to stop the wig lady, using a large blade to cut the lamprey from the woman's body. That doesn't immediately kill the lamprey, and Willow quickly shoves it in the meat grinder. Next day at Summer's house, Amy pays Willow a visit, leading to Murphy necessities. Willow denies her interest in the house and angrily suggests that Amy stay away from her. Buffy returns to the Doublemeat Palace to return her uniform to the manager, Lorraine. After revealing her knowledge of the Doublemeat medley's composition, she is sworn to secrecy. She gets her job back and resigns to working there, at least for now. So anyway, let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. When Xander remarks that he hears Anya's go money go rant on money and efficiency daily, Will responds that he will for the rest of his life. Xander's face shows dread, another example of foreshadowing of the events of Hell's Bells. Buffy mentions her experience as a waitress in L.A. from the episode Anne. Xander says that he has sworn the muggy waters of fast food. During season 4, before starting construction full time, he's seen or mentions working at various food service jobs, including hot dog on a stick, pizza delivery, and ice cream truck. Willow mentions that Buffy's birthday is coming up. Her birthday will take place two episodes later in Older and Far Away. Dawn and Xander discuss Buffy being enabled to be nicely employed for all her life, while Xander suggests Dawn to be the only one with a nice job. At the end of the series, Buffy graduates Police Academy, and Dawn is a college student intending to become a grief counselor. In the episode Entropy, Willow will describe the wig lady's true appearance as, well, let's put it this way, if I was a gay before. So let's take a look at some production notes. It had Buffy screaming, it's people, at the customers. It's a reference to, as an homage to the 1973 movie Soylent Green, with its famous line, Soylent Green is people! And now let's take a look at a broadcast note for this episode. Joss Whedon revealed that the portrayal of the fast food industry with the Doublemeat Palace caused sponsors to threaten to pull support. Quote, the only thing we've ever actually been stopped or asked to stop was during the fast food run. When Buffy worked at the fast food joint and made the advertisers very twitchy, so probably the most controversial thing we ever had on Buffy was a hamburger and a chicken sandwich. And now let's take a look at some deleted scenes. Xander would say when we visited Buffy at the Doublemeat Palace, we were all going to yell, good luck in the job, but we don't have the kind of timing that kind of thing requires. Don't comment on Willow's testing. So it just spends. It's like taking a pregnancy test. What do you when they do that in pregnancy test commercials? Now let's take a look at some pop culture references. Willow mentions the trio's hideout having a picture of the Vulcan lady on Enterprise, referring to T'Pol from Star Trek Enterprise. Buffy compares the Doublemeat Palace training video with the 1993 comedy film Sleepless in Seattle, mentioning its actors Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And now finally, let's take a look at the goof. In the scene where Buffy is learning to use the grill, she lifts the burgers when they are done on one side and starts to speak for a manager. From a distance, the burgers now have to be completely raw. Oh, that's not good. Not good at all. So overall, I give So overall, I think this episode is kind of interesting, and yeah, it's the whole thing about finding what's in the meat and stuff. So yeah. So overall, I give Doublemeat Palace 4 vampire steaks out of 5. Wait, tune in as we do the next episode, Dead Things. So until then, here endeth the lesson.